This last week in Maine, it's been pure paradise. Weather's unbelievable. The water's been great. It's finally warming up. Neighborhood's awesome. Fantastic. This restaurant has become our new staple. We ate dinner here last night. We're eating lunch here today. It's like at least a couple times a week now. It's very close to our house and it's very, very good. Plus it has a killer view. Okay, today on WattsTV, this weekend, it's really about opinions and celebration, and also I want to get a little bit more in depth in today's video. Yesterday was all about celebrating the passing of Same-Sex Marriage Act, which I'm super pumped and super excited about, and I'll link that video up right up here. You'll be able to see it if you didn't get the chance to see that. Today I want to talk a little bit about the passing of a bill, because there are some friends that reached out, and also I've been doing some research about California and what's going on out there with vaccines. But stay with me, okay, because I'm not going to voice one side or the other side. I want one thing that I realized over the past couple of years is that to really start looking behind the scenes. The news gives a front. The news says one thing, but start digging deeper than behind the scenes. And you might not be somebody that wants to dig into information, but for you to voice your opinion, because I think it's very important, as we've learned over with the Same-Sex Marriage Act, to start voicing your opinion on what you believe. It's important when you do this with bills as well, okay? So let me explain here. I have 5 criteria that we're talking about, and then I'll point to specifically about this, the California vaccine bill. Okay, so background, all right? You wanna always learn a little bit more about the bill. Who's passing it? What's the point of it? What's the reason behind the bill getting passed? Who's behind the scenes? So also, what is the news pushing? All right, number 2 is like, what is the news really pushing? What are the highlights? What are the headlines? What is that they're putting out that you see on a daily basis that might be something that's different than what is really going on? Because the news has its own objections. Like if you listen to CNN or you listen to MSNBC or you listen to Jon Stewart and then you go listen to Fox News, you could be talking about the exact same topic, but you're gonna get two completely radical ideas on each side, all right? Then we have your choices. How is what's going to be passed going to affect your choices, all right? And then we have your own thoughts. What are your own thoughts about the situation? Because I think we forget this sometimes. Like, I have a mind. I can actually make an opinion. I have the self-confidence to be able to voice my opinion about something. So what are your own thoughts? And then also, really, the biggest one, especially in politics in this day and age, is follow the money. Because of the political system, this isn't some secret. It is very much controlled by where the money is coming from, where the funding's coming from, who's donating the money, where's it coming from behind the scenes, okay? So really follow the money, because that influences candidates' perceptions. And if you don't understand what I'm talking about, go see Fed Up the movie. You'll see how Michelle Obama has changed her tune over the years based off of what the food companies and pharmaceutical companies and drug companies and what they've been able to do to manipulate the system for her, and what her message has changed from. It's changed from healthy eating, changing our food system, to changing our food supply, to just moving and exercising, where we know moving and exercise really isn't the problem, it's what we're putting in our mouths. So this is a big thing to make sure that you change. And my dad even said that. My dad's lost 40 pounds or something in the past year and a half. And this weekend when he was here and we were talking about, and this goes back to following the money and knowing your own research, he was like, cereal, I've looked at every box of cereal in the cereal aisle, every single one is loaded with sugar. And I'm just like, yeah. It's amazing, right? And so we're told that having a bowl of breakfast cereal is something that's supposed to be nutritious and good, because that's what the public and the marketing says, right? But it's also what? It is super freaking cheap to produce, and the amount of profit, okay? Because any of these big corporations now, it's all about the profit. Why? Because it's getting to the shareholders and the higher shareholders and quarterly profits and all of this stuff. That's a conversation for a whole nother video, so I don't want to get too off track, right? We're going to talk about California with vaccines. And so I started doing some research about this vaccine, and you might be for it, you might be against it, you might have your own opinion around it, but I want you to just kind of look at behind the scenes of what's going on. Richard Pan, he's this guy. He's a Democrat. He was elected in 2014 to the Senate District 6. Senate District 6. And so I started looking at like, who's giving this dude money? Because I want to follow the money. I want to look behind the bill. I want to look behind the scenes. What's going on? The top 7 people in here have given between, each one of these organizations have given between $278,000 all the way down to $35,000 for him. And these top 7 are by far the largest chunk of his $3.8 million of what he's received. So number 1 is general trade unions. This includes health workers. Number 2 is health professionals, doctors, nurses, all of this stuff. Number 3 is public sector unions. This includes school unions as well as another union that I forgot. But number 4 is insurance. Number 5 is pharmaceutical and health products. Number 6 is health services. And number 7 is hospitals and nursing homes. Okay? Where's that coming from? And number 8 is actually lawyers and law firms. So if you look behind the scenes, about everyone that gives, this just fell and landed back in my hand. So everything that is the money that's giving him is going to be affected greatly by vaccines, which will increase their bottom line and profit, especially pharmaceutical companies that they're really pushing for it. Why? Pharmaceutical companies produce the vaccines. Insurance companies do what? They allow to administrative vaccines. Health practitioners, health workers, why? They're going to be giving more shots. It's like continually goes on and on and on. Follow the dollars, right? So I pulled this from a CNN article, and it talked about that California parents will be forced to give their children more than 40 doses of 10 federally recommended vaccines, or homeschool unless they can find a doctor to write an exception that doctors deny 99.9% of children under federal regulations, right? So they're going to be given your choices. What are your choices? You have none. There's 40 doses that you're going to be given of 10 different vaccines. And I mean, now that I'm getting ready to have a child, I start thinking about this. This newborn baby, okay, newborn child that has no thought, it has thoughts, but it has no choices. It can't make its own choices. It can't make its own decisions. We're going to be forcing ourselves to give them 40 vaccines, or 40 doses of 10 vaccines. That is crazy, crazy. Talk about somebody that is unable to make their own decisions, and then we're gonna force it upon them, right? But what's interesting, now stay with me, this gets very interesting. So this was also from the same CNN articles at the end of it. And the reason why this measles stuff is happening is because there's been 117 cases that were linked to Disney World in Orange County. Okay, 117 cases out of 173 people in 2015 up until May 29th. So 173 people in 21 states have been developed measles. 173, 173. Okay, that's an important number. Okay, so then I went to the Center for Disease Control, CDC, in the United States. This is like the overarching body of health information. It's like government, I believe it's a government agency that gives out great information. So it said, I forgot, where am I out of? Okay, so has measles, this is from their frequently asked questions section, I'll put all the links below this video. Has measles been eliminated from the United States? Yes, in 2000 the United States declared that measles was eliminated from this country. The United States was able to eliminate measles because of a highly effective measles vaccine. 2015, we're dealing with measles and we're trying to go through past all these laws, right? And so in 2015, 2014, 2008, measles has actually increased in the United States and it's made more of a presence. So then I was like, how the hell do you get the measles? So I started researching all this, the virus and vaccines and all of this stuff, right? But where do cases of measles brought into the United States come from? Okay, where does it come from? If it's not in the United States, it's coming from somewhere, right? Measles can be brought into the United States from any country where the disease still occurs and where outbreaks are occurring, including Europe, Africa, Asia, Pacific. Europe, Africa, Asia, Pacific. We're gonna call America, all the Americans, North, South, right? Central, Latin. That includes the entire world. So anyone that travels into the United States or that's traveling the world is able to get measles. And then I was like, how many cases are happening worldwide? If it's 173 in the United States, 20 million people get measles each year and about 146,000 die. Now I don't know the percentage. We don't want 20 million people to get measles. We don't want 146,000 people to die. I don't want to come off of being some jerk because I'm saying these numbers, but I want to put things into perspective. Because we're talking, let me write this out, because we're talking about 176 people in the state of the United States versus 20 million people worldwide coming down with measles on a yearly basis, okay? So 173 is relatively small. So we're gonna force the entire state of California to force their children to get the measles vaccine when there's only 176 actually outbreaks here in the United States, and there's 20 million potential people in the world to contract this from somebody else. So will the United States, this is still from the Center of Disease Control, will the United States ever get rid of measles completely? Yes, it is possible. Oh, how's it possible? The first step is to eliminate measles from every country in every region of the world. This includes 7 billion people. Once this happens, there will be no place for measles can spread. Okay, so let's really look at this situation. We follow the money. Where's the money? It's coming from. I listed the 7 things, right? Your choices, they're eliminated, they're reduced. You are forced to do something. Now, I do not agree with the fact that the government is making decisions and political decisions that are forcing us to do something like vaccinating your children. This is a personal decision, and also the child actually has no say whatsoever. Okay, so they have no say. So it doesn't make any sense, because once the government starts forcing us to do things, especially in the public health world, that is when the things will really start to change. So if you feel that you do not want this to happen into your state, and I know there's a lot of other states that have similar rules to this after I started, I think it was like 30 other states or so, but this will start. This is going to be the uprising and uplifting to start watching government regulations. And what happens now into 2015 versus past decades and centuries, because of social media, because of the news, because everything's online, we actually are able to know. Because before all of this transparency that is happening now, bills were passed and things were signed, and we had no clue what was going on as citizens of the United States. Now, with transparency of the government, of what we would like in social media, and the news is being put on the internet, we're able to find out information of what's really being passed. So I'll link all the information to all the articles if you would like to read them yourself where I'm getting this from, as well as how to contact the California government to let them know you're not happy with the situation of what's going on there. I know I am, because I do not want this to start taking over the United States. Like, this is the way it's going to be, especially if it starts with California. And it's not right to force children to be given 40 doses of 10 vaccines, and of course you don't know what is in those vaccines. It's been proven over and over and over again about vaccines and what's in them that it's not 100. You don't really know. Like, I want those choices to be made at home, and I want them to be communicated between the people that are at home and have real discussions about what they want to do with their children and how they would like to raise their family. I know this weekend on WattsTV we talked about same-sex marriage, we talked about California vaccines, but these are really, really important topics. And it's just because WattsTV has been a little bit about my life and excitement and that type of stuff and business stuff, but there's a lot of other important issues that I believe we get really overlooked. And I want to make sure that these things I listed here you're really, like, hopefully you're paying attention to those when things do come into your area and your state, because it is important. It's important for your choice, it's important for the future, it's important for our children. So let's make the right, correct decisions that we are going to do for ourselves and for the United States of America and for the rest of the world. Have a great rest of the day, guys, and we will see you tomorrow.
Ba-doom, 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 ba-doom.